line. Go, go, go.
Race is underway. I've got back. I think we managed to get the YouTube stream live in the nick of time. Not quite sure. Jason Absmeyer and Kieran Patterson are going to lead down into T1. Skuman and Wilkin fighting behind, going 3 wide. Let's see if we can get some helicam footage of that. We can see Wilkin has dropped down behind. He's gone side by side next to Bruno Kadili there as well. Let's try and see if we can see what's going to go on down into this corner. So Wilkin has lost out to Visachi and to Kadili here. And it's the Porsches getting away. Kadili and Visachi now going to fight out. Kadili getting himself kind of down into 8th place here. So he's dropped down the order. A couple of incidents in terms of guys just giving each other space. Good racing all across the board. And for now, we got to just see why that incident took place a little bit later on. We'll jump back to the replay. So Jason Absmeyer going to get away cleanly going through the chicane. Patterson as well. Skuman will chase down the top 3. Everybody kind of still in that train formation at the moment. Going back the order, we've got Krobler in 8th and Rowe in 9th. Gabe in 10th. Everybody just settling into a little bit of a train. Let's see if we can see some fights going on in the mid-pack. Maybe Greiling trying to make his way up the order. Going to go side by side with Gray. Looks like the Lambo going to get away on top. Getting himself into, I believe, 17th place. So Greiling making his way through the order for Repress Esports. And Jason Gray will just settle down. Strauss in 19th place for EKZ Motorsports in that Audi. A little dash of gold in the livery. Some red, white there to notice it too. Sebastian Janssen will be the driver to contest this in that Ferrari. He's trying to get by on Strauss as early as possible, but at the same time, just keeping it easy. Everybody in this pack keeping things clean at the start. It looks like everybody getting, in the background, bit of a collision. It looks like Buck is going to have a collision with Meyer. See if we can catch that, see what happened. Jumping back in the replay here quickly. So Meyer in his Porsche going to be chasing down on Buck in that Audi in the orange and white. They're going to come through T1. It looks like Buck on the inside line. Meyer is going to try and get along. Oh, Meyer's run quite wide. Comes to rejoin, and there's not the space there either. Buck and Meyer have collided. They both carry on going in the right direction, but it might not be a good race to start that with. So with an hour and 22 minutes remaining, you do not want to pick up any damage, and that's just what's happened. Up the front of the pack, it looks like Bruno has made his way up into 4th place. Arno Visachi hot on his heels, though. Wilkin, he's kind of got himself a bit of a train of cars behind him. He's got Keegan Masters, Bego Krobler, Daniel Rowe, and I believe that's Paul Gabe in the mix as well. So Wilkin currently being chased down by a hungry pack looking to take 6th place off of his hands. Going to be responsible for defending at all times. See if we can get a little bit of a rear view facing camera and watch the pack coming from behind. Masters, Krobler, and of course Rowe in the distance. Mark Antel, I believe, is the next person on our timing sheet. Janssen looks like he's dropped down. He's lost out to Strauss. And Antel now is going to be what Janssen's target will be. So Strauss getting himself a bit of free air. I don't know what you want to do in GT3 racing. Find yourself that rhythm if you can. 99% of the time you're probably going to be battling with somebody. But if you can get yourself some rhythm early on, settle the nerves. It's a long race for them to be here. Just a shout out to our chat as well. What's up? It's Jess, Kieran Blade Gazoo, Against All Odds Sports. What's up? What's up? Thanks for joining us. I'm sorry I got the YouTube stream a little bit late. For whatever reason, it just wouldn't go over to the live side. It was receiving the feed and it just wouldn't go live. Twitch went live immediately and we almost missed the race starts. I feel like we kind of jumped back in the nick of time. But with an hour and 20 minutes left of racing, it's going to be a long haul. So Jason and Kieran going to be getting themselves up to the front of the pack at the moment, the number 90 and the number 1, 2, 3 Porsches, finding themselves some room. Patterson going to be wanting to keep Absmeyer as reined in as possible. It's your responsibility as the second car to do that. It's a race-given thing. Everybody else is relying on you to not let the leader run away. And that's what Patterson will be trying to do. Daniel Skuman had a great start and has had a great race so far. I do feel like he is going to be under pressure from Bruno Kedili and Arno Versace shortly. Both incredibly talented racers and incredibly talented drivers. Good racecraft, good clean ethics across the board. And Skuman's made a mistake, and that's exactly what Kedili will want to have. Skuman is now going to be under fire from the Mercedes of Kedili, coming into T4, the danger zone, giving each other room. T5 is not the place that they're going to get it done either, but Skuman really does not have that breathing room anymore. Kedili coming into the chicane. Versace is hot on the heels as well, wants to capitalize on the battle, and it's going to go down. Skuman is going to have to go defensive as the attack begins. Third place, that's position on the podium, of course, is going to be up for grabs here. Nobody wants to give it up. Yes, we are going to be talking racing next week, 100%. I'm excited to get it going. Today was such a mad rush, and I'm excited for next week. We can definitely get this going. I'm excited to have someone in the booth with me, and I'm glad that you reached out and got in touch. Sebo in the chats as well. Did someone steal Bruno's accelerator? Great battles going on across the board. Let's see what's happening with Rowan Gaber. I believe 9th and 10th here. Rowan 9th. That number 4 for G4 Sim. And Paul Gaber for Team Tryhard Pro. Porsche versus Ferrari at the Hungaroring. Plenty of Porsches in this pack. Plenty of cars to keep me happy. Plenty of cars for everybody to pick up a bit of a bias to. And plenty of cool paint jobs as well. I do love a good paint job in ACC. It's something that I'll talk about often. And I feel like as soon as we get more custom livery options from Kunos, it will become even cooler to chat about what people are putting onto their cars. At the moment, a beautiful pack of GT3 cars at Hungaroring as Kruger and Cap now begin a little fight together. A McLaren 720S versus that Lexus of Kruger. Cap, of course, sitting third on the championship leaderboard at the moment, so wanting to get himself as many points as he can. If he can't make his way up the order, he most certainly does not want to lose out to the likes of Kruger or De Kock, who of course are going to enter into this. De Kock is strong driver, a new entrant here at RaceFace, only entering up today, getting his entry in. If you guys are keen to sign up and get driving, I feel like RaceFace has one of the fastest growing leagues in South Africa at the moment. From what I can see, there are 90-something drivers across Pro, Pro-Am, and Am. We're looking to stream as many as we can, so if you guys are looking to commentate, let's all jump in, let's get things going. There really is a lot of action to be had, and if you're not able to race and you want to just come and commentate and you want to go into one of the other divisions, of course, we can get anything going. We can have our shows. It'll be cool to get as much racing going out of South Africa as possible. Of course, the more drivers in ACC that we get, the better, and the more racecraft we can promote. So Strauss here and Ansel. Looks like Ansel has closed down on Strauss. Holding on to 19th at the moment, the number 55 Audi. But that 111 Porsche is going to be looking in. Strauss running wide. Ansel now going to be able to go side by side. Strauss does have the inside line, going to make that Audi wide. and defend where he can. So, of course, now into the chicane. Defensive line will be had. Ansel not going to be able to get anything through there. And Strauss will be trying to hold these inside apexes. You can see him defending. And Ansel's going to be forced to have to go around the outside if he does want to make a move on Strauss. Switching over to our helicam. Arguably one of the harder corners on this track if you do have a little bit of liftoff oversteer. It's back down onto the anchors. Strauss doing a good job at the moment to just keep Ansel at bay. Looking back, we can see Ansel trying to get something done, trying to hold the inside line of the apex, and Strauss maybe making a bit of a mistake there, letting Ansel get side by side. They are going to go alongside down the main straight. Strauss going to let off, it looks like, and just settle back. Bit of strategic driving in there. 1 hour, 13 minutes to go. Pulling out and allowing Ansel through. You got a long race to go, and don't want to battle it up. I can respect a decision like that. Janssen and Pirelli, 2 Ferraris, are now on the battlefield, and it looks like Janssen making a big mistake coming in through the right-hander. Will have the inside line for the left-hander. Cuts across the track quite drastically, but does compromise his line. Allows Pirelli to get side by side. Pirelli off the track. Is still going to try and stay with this. Does back out before T4, and that's actually going to cost Pirelli some time to Hutting, who is trying to get that McLaren on the inside line here through the right-hander. Up to the chicane now. Pirelli doesn't really have the inside line. Hutting needs to brake early, and a little touch going to send him through. Hendricks now going to spot an opportunity to bounce onto Hutting. We've got 4 cars in this. Pirelli, Von Mansberg, Patterson all enter to try and see what they can get out of this. They've noticed the gaps closing down. They can see fellow drivers in front making mistakes. And Patterson, the other Patterson, Alan Patterson, is going to go side by side with Von Mansberg now. This is a battle for 25th place as they go down into the hairpin inside line. It's a big mistake coming out from Von Mansberg, and that's going to allow Jason Isherwood to get close to them too. So that Bentley, a lone Bentley, I feel like, on the grid, is going to close down and try and get himself up the order. Great bit of driving coming out from everyone for now. Looks like Pirelli is going to lose out to Hutting, Hendricks. Patterson going to be looking in too. So Marco Pirelli, the number 19, is settling back down. Sebastian Janssen, he's got away from all of that. He's driving his way up the order. Currently in 20th, the number 64 has Strauss to contend with next. Of course, Strauss earlier just letting his fellow battle sort of go by the wayside to give himself this open air. And Sebastian Janssen will be looking to close that down. Up the front of the order, let's go back and see what's happening. We've still got Jason Absmeyer for White Rabbit Gaming in his number 90 Porsche, leading us away with Kieran Patterson for Patterson Works Racing, the number 123 Porsche in second. Daniel Skuman, a little bit down the line, will make up that Porsche 123. The number 37 DS Motorsports Porsche will soon have perhaps Bruno to deal with. It does look like the battle between Bruno and Arno Versace has slowed down. Wilkin is going to be trying to chase down on all of this. Of course, Wilkin from Sarko here is really trying to make moves. I do love the paint work on this Porsche. I don't care if it's a Porsche, and I'm just saying the day glow yellow with black is, I kind of wish I had picked it once upon a time. It's not quite like the Nvidia green. It's literally the day glow coming out. Jason Absmeyer, of course, hasn't had to deal with Patterson just yet, but don't discount Patterson from this battle. With an hour and 10 minutes of racing to go, anything is possible. And of course, they do have a mandatory stop to make. We do have to talk about some of the ballast being applied to the races. So If you see 10, 20, 50, and 40 kilos, that goes to all the drivers, how they finished in the previous race. So the winner of the previous race gets the most ballast going all the way down. So everybody driving with a bit of ballast on their cars, if you were wondering why some of the guys are maybe off the order. So Bruno currently running with 20 kilos of extra ballast on his car. Let's try and get our split timings to work. I agree. Let's get them to maybe work. I don't know if it wants to. There we go. We got some timings to work. So Vogel and Grayling look like they are one of our closer on-track battles at the moment. Things starting to slow down a little bit. Sort of what we'd expect, but Vogel not yet done with his battle with Grayling. So these two will now begin their little dance at an Hungaroring. Gray wants to get in on that too. For new viewers, you are not new and up to date with how GT3 racing seems to go in ACC. We do see it often. So I often like to point it out. And if you are new here, any of these battles, someone like Gray, Jason Gray here, in the other Bentley, not the lonely Bentley, the second Bentley, coming in here, Gray wants to try and see if he can slingshot himself up the order. At this point in time, he's still got a little way to go. Vogel isn't quite onto battling with Grayling, and Grayling, of course, is a quick driver too, so they're going to be trying to make their way towards finding some battles up the order. Anna Visagie, apparently him and Charles Wilkin are going to be looking like they are going to perhaps get a chance at something. At the moment, Visagie is, his last lap at least was about 6/10 slower than Charles Wilkins. So something that has been picked up by Sebo there is that Antal has dropped down to 30th place. So that has not worked out for him. Both Borelli and Hendricks here, both of them are up on their lap times previously. So finding a little bit of pace as the race progresses, of course, that's something that does happen here. At the same time that the track rubbers in, your tires are contributing to that grip coming. So just bear in mind that as the race goes, these drivers will be losing some of their grip on their tires. And that's something to bear in mind with where they will be driving, where they will be braking. And everybody's going to be adapting to that throughout this. Switching back to Bruno, it looks like he does have Skuman still in sight. The ballast that he's driving with, definitely not going to be benefiting him in his Mercedes here. But it does make for some interesting racing indeed, this ballast system. So Morgan McCall, of course, our championship leader. Let's go talk about him for a little bit. So as you heard our crew chief there just talking about the pit window opening, that just means that these guys now for the next 45 minutes can go and make those mandatory stops. If they miss that pit window, they get, I believe, disqualified or a big penalty applied at the end of the race. I believe it's disqualified. But Morgan McCall here is our championship leader at the moment for MK Racing in this livery, the number 888. I'm a fan of a bit of the lime matte green going down. Does look like Kruger is trying to force a mistake out of McCall. Going to be forcing him to try and brake in the wrong place. That's what Kruger will be wanting to do. Force McCall to defend and carry as much speed as he can to get alongside and get a nose in to be able to make a move. Final sector for McCall is most definitely a little bit quicker than Kruger's, as Kruger does struggle towards the back end of the pack. Of course, Kruger here is not running with ballast. Oh, we do see a dive coming in there. And it's the undercut coming out from McCall. So cuts back in. Makes things happen. Kruger thought he could make the move down. Let's get a little replay of that. Let's try and get an onboard from Kruger's perspective. We're looking at our timing sheet. So Kruger going to be in the slip of McCall. McCall is holding the inside line, tucks out and forces the dive down. And McCall just cuts back nice and easy. So Kruger there not able to make the move. McCall creates himself a bit of space. And once again, McCall will have to defend against Kruger towards the chicane. So in the mid-sector, Kruger does really dial back in and get back onto the back of the Porsche. And then through Sector 3, it looks like McCall does run away with things a little bit. So Cap in the background, that McLizzy, the McLaren, going to be trying to see if he can capitalize on McCall and Kruger's fight here. Kruger is going to get closer. Not close enough, though. Not close enough just yet. You do see Cap getting closer from the back view here. As we look at the rear wing of Brandon Kruger's Lexus. Once again, they'll try and go side by side. McCall going to defend the inside this time. It's actually going to be the other way around. Kruger going to get the work done. Beautiful bit of driving coming out from Kruger. Almost a reversal of fates there. Let's go and watch this time round with Brandon Kruger. This is the time that he gets it done right. It's not the camera that we want to watch. This is the one that we do want to see. Just going to stay around the outside, wait for him to send it down, and just drive on out. So beautiful bit of driving. I'm not sure why we do not have our right camera angles up. Oh, there we go. We lost our broadcaster overlay. Couldn't see any of the lap times. Super strange. Had a couple of strange things happen so far with ACC in the last couple of days, just with regards to some updates. See if we can get those timing sheets fixed. There we go. So, Alan Patterson and von Mansberg. No ballast to play with here. Just a fair battle between equal manufacturers and powerhouses. Oh, Ryan has entered the chat as well to watch the Porsche Cup at Hungaroring. We have 1 million Porsches here, and you love to see it. We've just hit our hour mark. And of course, our pit window is open. Nobody has jumped into the pits to serve their mandatory stops just yet, I don't think. If they have, it was earlier. We saw someone go into the pits for damage, but that just wasn't enough. You had to wait out a little bit longer to make use of the mandatory stop. So if they did do that, they have to jump back in again. So, of course, round 4 here at RaceFace.Pro for Season 2. Hungaroring after we were at Bathurst last week. Jason Absmeyer wasn't there to tackle the mountain, but is here at the moment, currently holding down first. Patterson still maintains the view of Jason Absmeyer's Porsche, the number 90. It does seem to have gone a further distance away at this point, but still within reach and still within making usage of mistakes that Jason makes. Daniel Skuman is currently in third. Bruno has managed to close down again, but is struggling with the ballast that is applied, of course, for his finish in the previous race. So Kadili here is trying to bully Skuman in a disadvantaged car, I would say, you know, but Skuman's been holding on to third since the start of the race and does not intend on giving that up at any point in time. So Kadili gonna have to work hard. Versace, he's also kind of just held the same place on the back of Kadili here. So made his way up into fifth. The number 94 Audi will chase it down and try and get stuff and things done. Running a little bit wide. You have to be careful here at Hungaroring. Drive-through penalties are a thing. Ryan in the chat is definitely going to be a fan of Porsches. If you guys, I mean, if you guys have a favorite manufacturer, you can of course scream it out. If you have a favorite driver, you can let us know. Yuri Absmeyer is here as well to see his son in the front. Yes, he is at the moment. He's got Patterson on his back end. It looks like Jason may have maybe made a mistake earlier, because Patterson has definitely got closer. We don't want to bring commentator's curse here. There's full disclosure, Jason races in the team that I'm a part of, so White Rabbit Gaming out in the front, and Patterson Works Racing looking to contest this. The number 123 dashing color scheme, you know, dash of white with some lime. Skuman, Kadili, and Versace, they continue things out. I want to see if we got some battles a little bit down the order. We saw Patterson and Van Mansberg. That still continues. Patterson in front of Van Mansberg. Isherwood still continues to try and see if he can make his way up the order. Of course, starting right at the back in 30th place. Make his way up to 25th. Not something to look at. Shan saying Jason doesn't need a curse. He has a cursed racing rig. You know what? It's all going to change. TGN coming in clutch. Going to be sorting out the rig side of things. And we're going to be all sorted out. Arno van Mansberg does have to... Oh, I see Sean Buck here. So we saw this gentleman unfortunately have a awkward encounter with the wall. The barricade and Sean Buck were not mates. The logistical nightmare number 2, Audi, looking a little bit worse for wear. And I fear that the damage here has really cost him. It was so early on in the race. He did not go into the pits to repair it. And from there, it is just... It will feel like the worst battle in the world. The worst exam. Like going into an exam unprepared. And then finding out it's in French. And you've never taken French before. It kind of feels like that. So Buck going to have to make his way up the field. Dion Cup. Third in the championship. We mentioned that earlier. Gotten past on Morgan McCall. So looks like Morgan McCall here definitely struggling with the ballast that he's carrying in his car. 50 kilos, of course, a lot of ballast to have to deal with. And that's all something that RaceFace has come up with in their championship. So winning the race previously doesn't necessarily mean that the next race is going to be yours to run away with. It's definitely made sure that drivers are kept very honorable and very honest. So if Jason runs away with this and gets this one, round 5 will be carrying that ballast in the back of that Porsche. So something to bear in mind, every race, every week is a little bit different. And it kind of is not just what some places have done with a ballast system across the board on certain cars at certain tracks. It's something a little bit different. I kind of like it, and you might not be a big fan of it, and that's fine. You know, it's okay. Everybody's entitled to an opinion. Even if I can just say that your opinion is, then we're not going to say that on the stream. I'm just kidding. I just like the fact that it's something a little bit different. And it means that if you are here week in, week out, you see something a little bit more exciting every now and again on stream. So we're losing a couple of frames there as my capture card sort of freaks out. Hopefully you guys can still see the stream. If you can't, just let me know. Tian Cap in 12th at the moment, trying to get himself into the top 10. Morgan McCall is just trying to defend as many positions as he can. Of course, he's got Bernard King closing down behind him, as well as Grayling. So, Grayling's actually picked up a drive-through penalty. So, talking about those penalties, Grayling now has one. We don't have live stewards here. No live stewards. Everything here that is applied is for track infringements, speeding in the pits, etc. So that's going to cost Grayling big time. Electing not to take it on this lap. I feel like he actually just picked it up just before the second last, at the exit of the second last corner, coming into the last corner. So Grayling going to be kind of kicking himself there, I guess. Wilkins got past Versace. That's a battle that we did miss. And an overtake that I would have wanted to see. It's allowed Kadili to get himself some free air. Now, Wilkin and Kadili teammates, you know, driven together a lot. They've driven in endurance races together. Not in the same machinery. Ballast applied. Versace going to still just hang on and see if Wilkin can get something done on Kadili, because Versace couldn't. And perhaps this is what Versace needs to get a foot in the door. Shan, you are right. I mean, the only issue I have with ballast, some guys put a lot of work to stand out ahead of the field, which means the next race he has 50 kilos extra to deal with. But it adds to the leagues, I guess. Yeah, you know what? I do agree with you. It is something that, you know, do you aim to, you know, come second or third and carry less ballast and just go for second places throughout the league? Does it become the chase for second place? I don't know. It's something that's being tried. It's something that we have to see. Like you said, it adds to the league. It adds to a little bit of the viewership. The story changes week in, week out. And I guess it just means that there's no runaway leaders. Maybe things can be adapted, some changes. I think that there are some BOP laws that could be applied to cars and track combos. I think some leagues have proved that that can work in the international scene. I think there's a variety of things that can really be done with it. I think it is good to see some adaptation being made. McCall with a big slide, and King and Grayling now going to be looking to get on by with this. Grayling does have a drive to serve, so not really going to benefit him too much. Wants to still keep it neat and tidy, not pick up penalty points going into the steward's inquiries at the end of the race. But King, he's got on by easily. McCall with a mistake made. 14th place now for McCall. even if he loses out to Krayling here, he will maintain that when Krayling goes in to serve the drive-through penalty. Shan, if the drivers are slower than the guys in front, put in more effort. You know, not an unfair comment. You know, there are some just incredibly talented aliens out there, and guys can do some more work to try and do what they can. I think it's a good argument, and I think it's a good platform for the discussion on the RaceFace.Pro Discord. If you guys are not a part of the community, come over to the RaceFace.Pro Discord. They've got a website as well, RaceFace.Pro. You can register up there if you want to sign up to the league. Come and show them a little bit of love. The Discord has plenty of members, plenty of stuff and things happening. If you want to just join a casual sort of racing community, you can come and race with a lot of the drivers that you see in leagues and things on Monday nights. Everybody heads out to the Monday night racing side of things. So if you are interested in doing ACC, you are from South Africa or our surrounding nations, Mozambique, Swaziland, Lesotho, Zim, wherever you are, wherever you find us, come and join us. We love to have some racing. We just love doing what we can to grow the scene. And currently into round 4 already. It feels like we only just started with things last week, but up to round 4 already into the season. I believe it's a 10-week season, so 6 rounds to go after this one. 48 minutes on the clock left of this race. And let's run through and look at our top 10 for now. Jason Absmeyer in first. Then we got Kieran Patterson in second. Bruno Kadili in third. Charles Wilkin in fourth. Daniel Skuman in fifth. Johan Bego Krobler in sixth. Arno Visachi in 7th. Daniel van Roy, that's Daniel Rowe in 8th. Keegan Masters in 9th. Brandon Kruger in 10th. Dejan Kapp in 11th. Bernard King in 12th. 13th for Morgan McCall. 14th for Francis Vogel. 15th for Jason Gray. Corne Strauss in 16th. Marco Pirelli in 17th. 18th for Sebastian Janssen. Johannes Grayling in 19th. Alan Patterson in 20th. Jason Isherwood in 21st. Sean Buck in 22nd. Heinrich Hutting in 23rd. And 24th for Arno van Mansberg. That's the order that we can see on the screen at the moment. There are the cars, but we have no ability to scroll through the rest of the order from here. But we can jump down through them. Batters Hugo is in 25th for the Team Wolf RaceFace.Pro car. Barry Mayer in 26th. Paul Gaber in 27th. 28th for Heinrich de Wet. Noah Hendricks in 29th for Am to Play. And Victor de Kock as seemingly... he's jumped into the pits for now, but in 30th place for Victor de Kock. Lap 20 of 22. So I believe it's a retirement from Victor on his opening appearance here at RaceFace. Not a great showing there from Victor, but the move here from Patterson going to be good. Absmeyer going to be forced wide. Side by side they'll go, but I think Patterson is side by side. Absmeyer now will have the inside line, and Patterson and Absmeyer begin their fights. And good work from Patterson to get onto the back of Absmeyer. Absmeyer trying to get some more done. But Patterson is going to flash his lights. Maybe it was unhappiness. Maybe it was good battle, my mates. But for now, Patterson and Absmeyer continue. I'm looking forward to also getting Shan in the booth with me next week. And just having someone else to talk with. The duration is long to be alone. It's like isolation in the booth. So excited to get someone in here to help out. And if you guys are at all interested in doing some live stewarding or commentating or administration work, hit up Batters Hugo. Let him know you're keen. And let's get the ball rolling. Ryan from the comms box wants to join me. Yeah, dude, Ryan, you definitely have to join up. Damn. We need some exciting Ryan in the mood. I'd definitely sign up for that. Yeah, 90 minutes. It's a long time to do things solo. I can talk rubbish for a long time, but I do always love having someone with me. You know, I need someone to fight against the love of Porsches, because that's all I really talk about when we get to talking about race cars. And I'm sure that there's more insight that can be added into that. Patterson and Absmeyer, the battle continues. Let's get some onboards here with Patterson. Let's see if we can jump back 30 seconds. I mean, that looked like it was an interesting ride down. So coming in to T1. Inside line being defended by Absmeyer. T2. Very late on the brakes from Patterson, but does manage to close down that gap. So it's all going to be down to where these guys come into the pits as well. That's going to be interesting to see. Porsche's love, Porsche's life. So Shan's also biased with me. We're a little bit damaged. He also did a 3-hour race a month ago. A karting race. Was that like a real karting race or a commentated race? I don't know if it was a real one. I know that I would never be able to race a kart for 3 hours. I think my arms would fall off. I don't think I could do anything for 3 hours, actually. 3 hours is a long time of physical exertion. So Patterson and Absmeyer are not going to stop this. Down the start finish straight they go again. Absmeyer wants the inside. Patterson is going to let him have it. Not quite finding the way through. We hit the halfway mark into the race. Absmeyer still holding off. Patterson doing such great work. And you know what? Pushing a driver to these limits is exactly what needs to happen. Patterson forces Absmeyer wide, forces him to get a drive-through penalty. Oh, look how close they're going to get to one another. I really need some better camera angles so we can get some splits of views. Oh, a little tap on the bum. Patterson has run into the back of Absmeyer, potentially giving him a bit of damage there. Patterson slows down, shows that he's sorry with some, flashing of lights, but it does look like perhaps the aero going to be compromised of Jason's car. Going to have to just adapt to it. Going to have to see what he needs to do. Potentially, we'll have to use his pit stop to do some damage repairs, but that's not something you want to ever do. We've been raided by Jesse as well into the chat, so all my friends from the comms booth in the European legions would and the Americans are coming to join us. I mean, they should all jump into a Thursday night comms cast. If we've got some space, we can do some South African racing. You guys have not seen our splits of drivers. We've actually got 91 drivers in the RaceFace series, from Pro, Pro-Am, and Am. So there's actually plenty of splits here, and we're growing and emerging as a racing community. So we just love to try and see what we can do. So Absmeyer into the pits, I believe that will be for damage. And unfortunately, we did think that would come. He wasn't looking too comfortable. Patterson is going to take over the race lead. Perhaps at this point in the race, he's also damaged his front end. He did run into the back of Jason there. So all going to be time to look. Let me try and fix the split timings again. That change every time I change the camera angle. Those are the things that I love about ACC a lot. Can I get the one that I want? That's the one that I want. So we can see who's pitted, who hasn't pitted. If they got a little green rectangle next to their number, they've gone into the pits. Currently, you can see they only have to make one mandatory stop during this race. And where did we see Jason come out of all of that? So Jason comes out of the pits in 10th place, having completed his pit stop. Kadili is in front of him. Where did Bruno come out? Yeah, so Bruno Kadili comes out of him. Of course, a bit of a longer stop going to come out, I guess, for Jason. Trying to just do some quick math in my head. Kieran Patterson is going to go into the pit then. Yeah, so we'll be down to see what Kieran Patterson does here. So either Kadili or even Versace later on could be potential victors here. Depends on damage that's been done to Patterson, I guess, and what repairs were done by Absma. I don't have all of that info on me, but depending on what they've done, really could change up the race. But for now, Johan Bego Grobler for Team Wolf will stay out in the lead Mercedes, the number 15 Team Wolf RaceFace.Pro car will lead us away. Number 15, of course, needs to go into the pits, and that's why at this point in the race is in this position. Gets a bit of airtime here as our race leader, Daniel Rowe for G4 Sim, the number 4 Ferrari. He will do the same in second, and Keegan Masters. I mean, I get sometimes confused about Keegan Masters' team name. I mean, is it just yellow? So the number 20 currently holds down that third position. It's all temporary until they go and serve their pit stops. Pretty much most of the order here will be affected by this. So Jason Gray still to go into the pits in 4th. 5th place for Vogel also to go into the pits. Then we got first of our serving pitters, which would be Kieran Patterson. And then we've got Bruno Kadili. So Bruno Kadili, and then we got Jason in the background. They're kind of all still in it to win it. Kadili here on Patterson. Patterson's just come out of the pits, so of course he's going to have colder tires and brakes. Kadili's been out a little bit longer, so might be able to try and capitalize on that after the pit stop. But for now, these three will be the first of our pitters. So it will be interesting to see where everybody comes in. Bego, will go into the pits. Daniel Rowe will stay out. So it will be interesting to see if Bego does jump over onto Rowe in this situation. Masters also stays out. Vogel will stay out. He's got Sean Buck, who's coming to unlap himself, I believe. So Buck possibly finally getting into the pits during his pit window. He was driving a very damaged Audi around earlier. Potentially sorting things out. There's a shout out to everybody on Twitch and over on the YouTube side on the RaceFace.Pro YouTube channel. If you guys are not subscribed to RaceFace.Pro on YouTube, please head over to YouTube, search for RaceFace.Pro, give them a subscription, give them a like as well. Hopefully some more stuff to come with the RaceFace guys. Love working with Baptist Hugo, a phenomenal gemstone in the race community as well, and really is building some cool things with RaceFace. For the moment, filling my commentary nights up with as much as I can, like I was doing before. Unfortunately, things didn't quite work out like they were meant to do on that front. and we're going through a little bit of a change up. But yeah, stay tuned to my Twitter side of things, ZA_GMax. I'll be updating what we do, where we go, what I'm going to be doing in the future over on that side of things. Masters, and I believe that's Gray in 16th place. It is. Currently our last in the top of the order to go into the pits would be Masters, and I believe Issue with a couple of guys actually still out on the field needing to go into the pits. Yuri, just to touch on that side of things, there's no live stewards here, but the stewarding side of things gets done post-race. So the drivers they have to submit a report. There just aren't big enough community members to get on board with the stewarding side of things. If we do have some volunteers that want to get involved in doing some live stewarding during these events on Thursday nights, of course, jump in. Let us know what you want to do. Contact us on the Discord and let Batters know that you want in on the action. Not saying you, Yuri, if that wasn't just a reply there. I was just saying in general, if there are guys that are out there that want to help, because live stewarding is cool. Something that we've seen our homies over on the other side of the pond do with their sim racing events. And of course, we try and benchmark what they do and try and bring that sort of racing level to our leagues here. We do want to promote clean driving. We do want to have good, clean battles on track. Patterson, Kadili, and Absmeyer, I believe, will still enter into their three-way battle relatively soon. All on the same lap, all on track in the same shots. As we look down the order, sitting second, third, and fourth, only because Keegan Masters is yet to go in to serve his mandatory stop. So Masters at the moment just trying to make the most of his tires. In some of the leagues that I've streamed and commentated on before, early pit stops aren't the worst way to go. It feels like you can get out onto track with a lot more confidence early on to really attack and push yourself to the next limit. It all comes down to your driving style and really what you've left on your tires. So Masters is currently going to be our race leader. And down the road, we've got Patterson, Kadili, and Absman. I think this is where a lot of the action will sort of center itself towards the end of the race. It will be interesting to see where they end up. Blue flags for Hendricks in front. Patterson going to let him know what's going on. Hendricks doing good work to just stay out of the three race leaders' ways. As Patterson gets on by, Kadili, Absmeyer do the same. Francis Vogel has had a great race. He's obviously also just extending that pit strategy. He's into fifth before going into the pits. Charles Wilkin in sixth has gone into the pits and is closing down onto the back of Vogel again. So expect Vogel to go into the pits soon. Sooner rather than later, Vogel will go in. We've got 11 minutes left of the pit window remaining as we head into our last 30 minutes of the race too. Yeah, no, I you know what, 30-second penalty for that move. I don't even believe 30 seconds at that. Patterson slightly nudging Absmeyer on the back end under braking. It was, it wasn't something that I would say looked even near intentional. Or Jason's picked up a drive-through penalty. That is going to be big. Now that is big. Driving off, pushing to the limits, trying to catch up, is going to exceed the track limits, and with 30 minutes to go, is going to have to go in and serve that. Patterson here under attack from Kadili. Might suffer the same fate if the pressure's there, so it's not even just if you have to defend. Just pull up a full view of our timing sheets at the moment. Let's see if I can just get that to also include the split times. We can get it to include the split times as well. So Yuri Absmeyer, you can't be a steward, a little bit biased. Yeah, it's it is that way sometimes. Absmeyer going to go into serve his drive-through. It's going to cost him some position. Still got 28 minutes to get things done. Got a fresh car. He's repaired the damages, I believe. He was looking like he was making up pace and position. Back end is looking cleaner, so still a lot to do. What a beautiful view we have here. 7 o'clock at Hungaroring, my bad. The sun is slowly starting to set, and we're getting some beautiful shots getting set up as well. So Jason going to come out in 7th, 8th, possibly 9th. Comes down in 9th position. Craigish has entered the chat. Long time no see, my pal. Yeah, we're streaming some RaceFace.Pro over on YouTube as well as onto my Twitch channel. I don't really use it much for streaming anymore, but where we can do some casting and things for the local community of sim racing, we do it. So tonight it's RaceFace. Normally on Wednesdays we had Dominus streams, but coming into Season 2 for that. Charles Wilkin, he's dropped down the order as well. He's down to 9th place. Oh, lots of damage picked up too. So it looks like at the front of the pack, things are going good for Patterson and Kadili. Vasaki also a big winner. I did say keep an eye on Vasaki towards the end of the race. Him and Kadili, after having good pit stops early on, coming out in the right time at the right place. Rowe here also having a great race in 4th place, as well as Bego. So Rowe going to go side by side, or attempt to do it, as Vasaki defends the inside. Rowe going to try and cut back. Side by side they stay. Now into T3 is going to yield, but this is going to allow Bego to carry a lot of speed. So Johan Grobler in the black AMG trying to get work done onto Daniel Rowe in that Ferrari, as we continue to look at this battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th. So Vasaki is going to be happy with Rowe and Bego Grobler having a scrap together. It's going to create him some space to get away, but Daniel Rowe needs to just stay focused. We've seen drive-through penalties come out just for 2 drivers so far, and I believe that the penalties and penalty limits are still to be breached. So let's just wait and see what they do. Oh, we got a little cheeky raise from Weza SA. Thanks, homie, for bringing the crew through. You've joined us here for RaceFace's 4th round at Hungaroring. Currently, we look at Kieran Patterson in his 1-2-3 Patterson Works Racing Porsche. He leads the way over Bruno Kadili in 2nd. Then we've got Arno Vasaki in 3rd. He was the man that was in the battle, of course, there with Daniel Rowe and Johan Bego Grobler. Keegan Masters in 6th. Brandon Kruger, he's also in a fight here with Jason Absmeyer after serving a drive-through penalty and picking up a bit of damage and having to go into the pits. Absmeyer here, the number 90, looking to try and get his way up the order. Definitely got the pace to do so. Charles Wilkin looking like he's driving a damaged Porsche around at the moment. The front end looking mangled as he makes Paul Gaber's work probably a little bit easier. Jumping on board with Gaber as we can hear the whine of the Porsche. Not quite a place to move up to 6th gear. Wilkin going to run wide. Once again, I do believe Wilkin is piloting a damaged ship. And is going to just try and hold on for positions where he can. But that Porsche is going to be a wild ride. Dejan Cap, still not into the top 10 just yet, but oh so close. 11th place for the lonely McLaren in the series. Daniel Skuman. Not quite a battle for position at this point in time, but is just coming up to back Marcus de Wet, getting out of the way. Let's go back to the battle with Visagie, Rowe, and Grobler for now. So, I mean, all that Visagie has to do is kind of just back Rowe up just a little bit. And he'll have Grobler there to do the dirty work for him. So Rowe's in a difficult position. He needs to get a move done. Or he's going to get a move done by Grobler. It is so difficult to be that middle car. Oh, Visagie is... I thought he was going to go late onto the break. Van Mansberg is just going to allow the lead cars to go through. Dealing with traffic, not the easiest thing to deal with either. You obviously have to find a safe place to make a pass. Sometimes the pass suits you, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it benefits the car you're battling. And sometimes it really throws you off. Grobler running a bit wide, coming in through T5. But more back markers are in front. So Visagie going to pass Hugo here through the chicane. Hugo not nowhere to really go. Just stays on the inside line where he can. And just tries to let them through. They get on through without too much altercations, and Visagie just has to... Oh, Visagie did make the mistake. I thought I saw him make a mistake here. So he comes through the chicane into the left-hander. Does he get a little bit too much on it? Oh, bit of grass. Oh! Saw him bottom out as well, and that will be Visagie over. We talked about pushing too hard, and that's exactly it. That's going to allow Daniel Rowe to slip through onto the... Let's just get our... That's going to allow Daniel Rowe to slip on through into third place and allow Bago Grobler to potentially also get something done. Masters, he's in fourth place. He's also entered into this, so this is potentially a battle for third. Damn, what a great race coming out so far. So, Bruno Kedili driving a ballasted car, of course carrying some extra weight, doing great work to hold down second. Patterson is doing a great job in first, but of course it is here, Daniel Rowe, Bago Grobler, and Keegan Masters where things are starting to heat up for us. Down the order, we've also got some other battles as well. As we see, Masters and Grobler are going to be all over each other. Masters now, we're going to go on board as he chases down the Mercedes. The pink and black Mercedes looking not comfortable as he tries to defend. He's got a mirror filled with Porsche as they go through the right-hander. Tricky section of the track. And Bago Grobler most certainly mastering it a little bit more than Keegan there. Down on to the anchors. Let's get into a helicam view. Not quite where Masters was able to strike, but you certainly see him closing in under braking. And Bago Grobler is going to be under fire sooner rather than later. If he leaves gaps open, do not expect Masters to leave them unopened or unfilled. He will put that car in the right place. Brandon Kruger, he also could get in on this. So if that defense goes well for Grobler, Masters will not be able to get by, and that will allow Kruger to get in. Absma, of course, wants to still also get in on this action. He's struggling there. He can't get past Kruger, so he sits in 7th place. Charles Wilkin, still with a bit of a damaged car, leading around in 8th place. A pack of hungry wolves, Visagie, Gaba, and Cap, all want to make their way through the order. Oh, it's Versace, Gabba, and Anto, and then Cap. Anto a back marker in this. He lost out early on. Still continues to drive on round, trying to unlap himself and get into better positions, but not able to do so at this point in the race. Got 19 minutes left to go, and this is where things start to heat up. This is what we've been waiting for. This is where we start to really get excited, because it's down to these sections of the race where everything can be made or broken. Of course, if you've had it early on, Masters, a drive-through for Masters, not what he wanted to get, pushing too hard onto the back of Bego Grabla, and that's going to be Masters getting a drive-through penalty, not going to be able to have a look. Isherwood, a back marker, getting out of the way nicely for Bego Grabla and Masters to get on by. Kruger and Absmai in the background, they're going to benefit off of this. Masters going to have to drive into the pit, so Bego Grabla going to be okay letting Masters by. Masters not going to serve it. Maybe feels that it's going to be cleared somehow. It's not. He has to serve it, and that's given by the simulator for exceeding the track limits. Oh, green Porsche's leading. I'm sorry. We lost a little bit of our main view. Let me know if we got it back. Are we back? Hopefully we're back. Sorry. We're all good. We're back. Yes, luckily the background image was a beautiful naked green Porsche. If you're expecting anything else as a wallpaper, you are sorely mistaken. We had a bit of radio commentary for you guys. You hear sounds, the car's going around. We're all good, we're sorted, we're all alive, we're back. I apologize to the stream. Keegan Masters, of course, did pick up that drive-through penalty, didn't serve it where he needed to. Is going to still go around and do the stuff and things. Of course, that's going to allow the cars behind. Bego Grabla is actually, he's losing out quite hard in the last couple of laps, and I'm not quite sure what's happening. We saw him let Masters by. I thought that was maybe because he thought the drive-through penalty wouldn't affect him. Kruger's got by. Absmeyer now also potentially going to be taking positions here. 6th place up for grabs, soon to be 5th when Masters serves the drive-through penalty. So, for now, it still looks like Masters going to stay out. This is his second lap. I do just hope that Masters is aware that he has picked up a drive-through penalty. He is made aware of it in the sim. But it would be devastating to see him stay out for another lap and not serve that penalty. Yeah, so at the moment, so Absmeyer had his drive-through penalty earlier. He served that, came out, got caught up behind a bit of traffic, and now needs to make his way back up. Kieran Patterson, the man of the show, the 123 Porsche, has had a drive so far that's been great. I understand that there was a little bit of tappage between the two of them into the chicane, but you do with what you must. Racing is racing, and that will be taken to the stewards by the drivers, not for me to dictate. But Patterson, really good bit of driving. We saw him closing down. We saw him really making space after he got by. And Bruno Cadilli driving a limping Mercedes because of ballast at this point in the race. Just going to be happy with second, I feel. Kieran Patterson, if he wins, going to pick up ballast for the next race, and that's sort of how the series works. What did he get a drive-through for? For exceeding the track limits. So you're given your warnings, and if you exceed them... Oh, so Masters is going to go into the pits finally. Thank goodness. So going to go serve that drive-through now. That's going to allow Kruger up into 4th. Absmeyer into 5th. Bego Grabla into 6th. Unfortunately, Versace also, I mean, he was having a great race, was potentially going to stay with second. had a big spin through the midsection of the track, and that all got, thrown away. Wilkin, still a damaged Porsche. Cap potentially, he's got himself into the top 10. That's what Cap would have wanted to do. That drive-through benefiting a whole host of cars, really. So Master's going to come out in 11th place. And you can just see how long a drive-through penalty puts you back when cars are pushing it on the track. So here, what's up? Yeah, there's ballast running in the RaceFace series. It's something that they're trying out. It's obviously just a series that is very open to comments and feedback, and obviously a growing community. So trying something new. They out there with a whole bunch of drivers from Pro to Am to Pro Am and Am. Always looking for feedback and things. So just a shout out to our chat here quickly. Thanks all for joining us, and joining us for the last 13 minutes of race 4 here at Hungaroring. Things are starting to get a little bit darker out on track. The sun is finally set. There's no longer a inconvenience in the eyes. Kadili in second, Rowe in third. Looking for something else on track at the moment. Cap and Wilkin and Gaba, our little train of 9th, 10th, and 11th for us to look at. The McLaren, a lonely McLaren, as mentioned earlier, versus a front-end damaged Porsche from Wilkin. And I believe Gaba has had quite a clean race so far, so potentially the best out of them all at this point. And Wilkin going to be trying to stay defensive. Of course, an insanely talented driver himself. And is going to just try and keep Cap from getting on by. Cap is going to see what he can do, but of course without losing out to Gaba. And I would like to be that number 51 Porsche at the back, watching this go by. Watching and waiting. Hopefully not commiserating. Yuri says, do I know why Jason uses the number 90? Yuri, I don't know why he uses it. Tell us. Give us some insight. Craigish says, cheers, G-Max. Have a good one. Thanks, Craigish. Thanks for joining in. Good to see you around again. I'll probably post some live links when we start going live. I'm not sure if I ever do that anymore. Let's just see what happened to McCall. So, unfortunately, I believe Morgan McCall had an outage on lap 24, so only halfway into the race. And that's where the retirement happened for McCall. So McCall, our championship leader, retiring out. Okay, so his date of... I thought, you know what I was going to say, because we have the same date of birth, so potentially was going to be like that. Jesse here, my... your spirit animal, you're my spirit animal. JC, my American friend. Claudio, how's it going? Everybody in the chats, if you guys are here in my Twitch chat, head over to RaceFace.Pro on YouTube. Those are the guys that we're supporting at the moment, and this is currently the season that we're casting. So we've got 10 rounds in total. We're here at round 4. It's every Thursday night, every week. And next week I'm going to be joined in the comms booth, so it's going to be a little bit more exciting. So looking forward to all the stuff and things happening out on track. Looking forward to some things happening over with my sim racing crew on the European and American side as well. So keep your eyes peeled. Looking to do some stuff and things. Some things have changed up. It looks like Baptist Hugo getting a drive-through penalty. The RaceFace.Pro owner exceeding track limits in his Purple Beast. I called them lonely Bentleys earlier, but I mean, there are a couple of them. And here are 2 of them on track. And Hugo now are going to have to go into the pits. Wilkin and Cap still continue. The Dayglow Wilkin Porsche is going to glisten in the headlights from that McLaren. And of course, Chabas still hasn't managed to get past Cap. So the 3 of them in the last 10 minutes are still going to keep it tooth and nail. Kruger and Absmeyer, same thing happens here. Brandon Kruger has not given up, has not given an opportunity for Absmeyer to pass. Daniel Rowe in front of them is potentially going to be caught up by them battling it out. You know, they are looking fast and on the pace. Let's see what their last lap times were. So Daniel Rowe, that Ferrari, did a 1:45.7. Brandon Kruger did a 1:45.288. And Jason did a 1:45.273. So Jason and Kruger, or Jason Absmeyer and Brandon Kruger, are both lapping a little bit quicker than Daniel Rowe at this point in time. Yuri Absmeyer asking, do we know what Jason's nickname is? We don't know what his nickname is. Tell us more about it as well. So if your friends and family are here or they watch you race, tell them they can come over to the RaceFace streams. We will find out information about you. If they've got baby stories, we'll find them out. So moms, dads, brothers, sisters, give us some insights about the people that you're supporting. Let us know why, your favorite driver, your favorite car. We're all here for you. Yuri says his name is his nickname Pashash. Is that really his nickname? I don't even know what it means. We just read things out. Okay, so a couple of questions on the liveries being answered in the Twitch chat. Yeah, so there's no official livery system being supported yet by Kunos. That's all possible things to come or not come. There are ways around it where servers can have it if you've got it. So if I had all the custom livery files on my side, I would be able to see them. But at this point, I don't believe we're running custom liveries on these cars. I know that other leagues here are going to try and do some things for it, so not the end of the world if we don't do it here and we see what it runs like on other leagues. But for now, I don't believe there are plans to have it. Pashash, I don't know. Ryan says his favorite driver is George Smith and his favorite car is the Lambo in ACC. Wow, Ryan. That sounds exactly true. George Smith is the worst driver. You should not support him. It's not the guy that you want to see on track. He's the guy in the box, and there's a good reason for it. Not as talented as the guys we see in the Pro Series. And I love the fact that the names that we see here are really representing some of the top races that we get in our country. And the more people we get in here. So here, Essa, if we get rid of ballast, maybe we'll come. He's obviously not a fan of it, but at the end of the day, we'll learn, we'll do things. Hopefully we can do some fun special events again. We obviously did that Medal State Kyle Army 9-hour. We're heading into that 5-minute mark. But yeah, that 9-hour was fun to do as well. So hopefully there's just more stuff and things happening around sim racing here. It's always been fun to be a part of it, and it's fun to see it grow and people get involved with it. Chances if he was in the comms booth, he would have been dead. So obviously, I need some Afrikaans flair. I sang our anthem on an international stream, well, mostly just the start of it. I didn't get to the Afrikaans part, so I couldn't really get into just how bad I am at languages. So at the end of the day, we're all here for fun and games. Kruger, drive-through penalty in 5th place. That's going to be big. Absmeyer did get by to get into 4th, and he's going to be on the back of Rowe in the last 4 minutes to try and chase down a podium. Rowe going to be under fire, of course, going to be pushing to try and get these drive-through penalties. On board with Jason as he comes into the 3rd last turn here at Hungaroring. That number 90 tucking onto the back of the number 4. There's not a lot of space to get things done here, and you really rely on good exit speeds. And there goes Cougar into the pits to serve his penalty. Daniel Rowe will lead us away in front of Jason Absmeyer in third place in a little battle that has formed on the last lap. Inside line being committed by Rowe. Jason Absmeyer going to try and get some cut back in. Very close coming in from Jason Rowe, doing good work to hold the inside line. And it will be a fight to the very end. Kieran Patterson at the moment looking like he's comfortable at the front. So we'll stick with this battle for now to see who's going to come out on top. Through the fast right-hander. Both guys looking as stable as possible. Absmeyer and Rowe, not a foot can be put out of place right now. Rowe running a little bit wider. Absmeyer wants to put the pressure on, but great driving out, coming out from Daniel Rowe. Keeping that Porsche at bay into the chicane now. Hard on the tail is Jason in the Porsche, and Daniel doing great work to just keep him held back, not able to get through. Bruno Cadiel just ahead in second place is going to most certainly not catch up to Patterson unless a big mistake's made in the last 3 minutes. So this is really what is going to be exciting in the top 5. I don't see anything closer all the way down. Ooh. Sebastian Janssen and Alan Patterson down in 19th and 20th potentially if this cools down. 45th lap for these two drivers. Rowe flashing his lights at the cars in front, letting them know that, listen, I'm fighting for position on track. I need to get through. This is actually 19th and 20th, I believe, the other battle on track that we're talking about. So Janssen and Patterson, Rowe and Absmeyer, all fighting for positions, albeit different ones. And of course, preference will be given to the guys on the leading lap. Patterson and Janssen hopefully do respect the blue flags enough that that isn't the reason that this battle gets exciting. Absmeyer trying to do his best. So, taps coming out. That's not what we wanted to see. Let me jump back 30 seconds and see what happened there. We had just pulled up the timing sheet to see where these guys were all sitting, and it looked like things just went wrong. So Patterson trying to get out of the way. Does do so. Janssen so Rowe turned in, hit into Janssen. Absmeyer collected as well as Patterson. So a couple of cars involved there, but it is going to be Absmeyer to get through. Rowe loses out quite heavily there. Bego Grobler, a big winner, jumps up a position. And we didn't want that to be the reason things got neat and tidy, but it did look like Daniel Rowe just turned in on Janssen, who was on the inside of the apex from the view that I saw. But that will go to the stewards, I'm sure. That was right on the end of the race. Kieran Patterson, our race leader, on his final lap. I'm going to try and see if we can just pull up what we normally do. I can't really do my drone footage of him. I don't have a controller connected anymore, which is unfortunate. But he is our race leader coming around on his final lap. Can't really get our drone footage like we normally get it. But Patterson here has had a good race. A little bit of an incident through the chicane, of course, with Absmeyer. That was where second and third, or first and second, got a little bit heated up. But it is what it is. And Patterson will continue round and take the victory here at Hungaroring for round 4. Unfortunately for him, picking up some ballast for the next round. A talking point for many a discussion, I suppose. Bruno Cadiel will cross the line in second. Of course, he was driving around with ballast in his car, finishing up second. So good showing out from Kadili. Absmeyer will make his way up onto the podium. Touch wood, not the last couple of corners, but getting through on a last-minute incident between Daniel Rowe and a back-marked car that was also fighting for position. I believe Janssen it was. So Absmeyer coming round for third place. Bego Hrobler takes fourth. Daniel Rowe will cross the line in fifth. Arno Visachi will take sixth place. Paul Gaber, he's going to come potentially across the line here for seventh. Is there anybody in the shot that's potentially there? No, Masters will be there for eighth. So Gaber seventh, Masters eighth, Cap ninth, so makes his way into the top 10. Wilkin holds the top 10. Daniel Skuman will take 11th place. Johannes Greiling, the Lamborghini for Repress Esports. Not the best race coming out from Greiling. Would have wanted more. I know that Greiling has got more in him there. 12th place for Greiling. 13th for King. 14th for Jason Gray. As they finish off their final laps. Let's pull up the timetables so you can just see the running order. I just want to say a big thank you to all of our viewers. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. That was awesome. I don't have any fancy overlays, cameras, or anything because I freshly installed. Oh, we would have had rain.
Green light. Go, go, go.
I wanted rain. There was a part of me that wanted that race to rain. It didn't rain. Now we get the rain. That's unfortunate. But from my end, like I said, we'll have more fancy overlays when I have had time to do it. Things have been a little bit hectic. Shout out to everybody on Twitch. Shout out to everybody on the YouTube side. Excited to have you guys out. And I'm excited to do some Afrikaans. If you guys are ready for next week, we're gonna gooi some taal for you guys.